Very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television, your one-stop morning show for top stories from India and across the globe. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you, and here are the headlines. Big diplomatic victory for India, firm resolve not to have a deal. Forces Pakistan to release captured Indian Air Force pilot unconditionally. Wing Commander Abhinandan to return home through the Wagah border. India to be guest of honor for the first time at the Organization of Islamic Cooperation meeting. Despite Pakistan's attempts to prevent India's attendance, Sushma Swaraj to attend the plenary session. Government bans separatist group Jamaat-e-Islami in Jammu and Kashmir for alleged anti-national and subversive activities, declares it an unlawful association. Cabinet extends 10% reservation for EWS category in educational institutions and public jobs in Jammu and Kashmir, announces extension of reservation benefits to people living along international border as well. And in other key decisions, Cabinet approves a soft loan to sugar mills to facilitate payment of dues of cane farmers for current season. Also relaxes rules for farmers to receive a second installment under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme. The biggest story this morning: in a major diplomatic victory for India, Indian Air Force pilot Wing Commander Abhinandan Vardhaman will be released by Pakistan today. It is learned that Wing Commander Abhinandan will be returning home to India at the Wagah border. The announcement was made by Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan on Thursday during a joint session of Parliament in Islamabad. Imran Khan said that the Indian pilot in Pakistan's custody would be released as a peace gesture. The Indian Air Force said that it was very happy that captured pilot Wing Commander Abhinandan is being returned home, but it dismissed Pakistan's statement that it was a goodwill gesture. It said that the pilot's release is in line with the Geneva Conventions. Earlier in the day, India had sent a strong message to Pakistan rejecting the possibility of any deal for securing the release of its pilot and demanding his unconditional and immediate repatriation. Wing Commander Abhinandan's MiG-21 was shot and he bailed out after bringing down one Pakistani F-16 fighter during a dogfight to repel a Pakistani attack on Wednesday morning. Since then, he has been in Pakistan. And amid escalating tensions between India and Pakistan, the Army, Navy and Air Force said on Thursday that they are fully prepared to respond to any provocations by its neighbour. In a joint press briefing on the topic in New Delhi, senior officials of the three services said that Pakistan used F-16 fighter jets to target Indian military installations on Wednesday. They presented parts of an AMRAAM missile fired by Pakistani F-16 jets at the Indian military installations in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri district. The evidence nails Pakistan's lies about not using F-16 jets in its mission. The evidence is crucial to establishing the use of the F-16 jets in the offensive because the United States, which sold the jets to Islamabad, doesn't allow these platforms to be used in an offensive posture.
On 27th February 2019, at around 1000 hours, Indian Air Force radars detected a large package of Pakistan Air Force aircraft heading towards the Indian territory, towards General Area Jangar. They breached the Indian airspace west of Rajouri in the Sundarbani area. The ingressing aircraft were observed to be at various levels. IAF fighters, including MiG-21 Bison, Sukhoi 30 MKI and Mirage 2000, were tasked to intercept the intruding Pakistan Air Force aircraft. The Pakistan Air Force aircraft attempting to target our military installations were intercepted by the IAF fighter aircraft, which foiled their attack. Although PAF bombs have fallen in the Indian Army formation compounds, however, they were unable to cause any damage to our military installations. In the aerial combat that ensued, one F-16 of Pakistan Air Force was shot down by an IAF MiG-21 Bison aircraft. The F-16 crashed and fell across the line of control in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The IAF lost one MiG-21 in the aerial engagement, and though the pilot ejected safely, his parachute drifted into the Pakistan-occupied J&K, where he was taken into custody by the Pakistan Army. IAF remains ever vigilant, ready, and committed to take on any eventuality. IAF has also learned that Pakistan has announced that Wing Commander Abhinandan will be returned to India tomorrow. IAF is happy and looks forward to return of Wing Commander Abhinandan.
Air Force attempted to target our military establishments in J&K. Specifically, they targeted a brigade headquarter, a battalion headquarter, our defenses, and a logistic installation. However, given the high level of preparedness along the line of control and the immediate and punitive response given by our own forces, the Pakistan Air Force's designs were foiled. We continue to maintain strict vigil along both the line of control and the IB sector. Our ground-based air defense weapon systems have been put on high alert all along the line of control and also in some parts of the IB. Our mechanized forces have also been placed on standby. I wish to assure the nation that we are fully prepared and in a heightened state of readiness to respond to any provocation by Pakistan.
The Indian Navy is deployed in a high state of readiness and remains poised in all three dimensions: on surface, undersea, and in air, to deter, prevent, and defeat any misadventure by Pakistan in the maritime domain. I can assure you of a resolute, swift, and strong response by the Navy when needed.
Meanwhile, experts have said that Pakistan is actually denying that their F-16 went down because they purchased it from Americans, and at that time it was not to be used in an offensive role.
I am a little amazed with the skill of the pilot, because this is an asymmetric warfare. You have a weapon which is much more potent, which is much more agile. Against that, I have a weapon whose thrust levels are not so high, whose G-turning ratios are not so high. Still, I'm able to engage and shoot it down. That's something extremely dedicated to the pilot who was flying it.
Pakistan is actually denying that the F-16 went down because from the Americans when they purchased it, it was that it will not be used in an offensive role.
All right, our colleague Akhilesh Suman is now joining us live from New Delhi. A very good morning, Akhilesh. Facing global pressure, Imran Khan yesterday announced that Indian Air Force pilot will be released today. And, US President Donald Trump gave the first hint of a thaw all the way from Hanoi in Vietnam on the sidelines of his meeting with Kim Jong-un. So now what details can you give us about Wing Commander Abhinandan's return to India through the Wagah border?
India is expecting that Wing Commander Abhinandan will be reaching Wagah border early, afternoon today. And as far as all the, formalities are concerned, our Indian High Commission in Islamabad will fulfill all the formalities. And Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Defence officials, and also representative of Punjab government will be there at Wagah border to welcome and receive Wing Commander Abhinandan. So, given the fact that India has, launched a diplomatic offensive against Pakistan, not only against, Jaish-e-Mohammed hideouts in Pakistan, but also its fallouts. And when India targeted the Jaish-e-Mohammed hideout in Pakistan, Pakistan targeted military installations in India, though it was foiled. And this has, culminated in a dropping of Wing Commander Abhinandan. So it was like a prisoner of war situation, and Geneva Convention has to be obeyed. And India had made it very clear day before yesterday when Foreign Secretary had summoned, Acting High Commissioner of Pakistan, that we cannot negotiate on this issue. You have to return Wing Commander Abhinandan, and it is not negotiable. It is not that it is to be done for creation of peace or something. You have to do it because Geneva Convention mentions it. And as far as the whole fight against terrorism is concerned, the activities of Jaish-e-Mohammed in Pakistan is concerned, and its link to Pulwama incident is concerned, the dossier of all these things with all the details, evidences, and also, even the maps have been given that in what way Jaish-e-Mohammed was acting from that position. So everything has been given to Pakistan. And now Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has to walk the talk. He had promised that if India gives us some actionable evidence, we will act against those terrorists who have, who were involved in Pulwama attack and also who are perpetrating and who are supporting. So now ball is in the court of Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan, whether he can walk the talk or not. But given the fact that India has been telling time and again that Jaish-e-Mohammed chief is in Pakistan, Jaish-e-Mohammed chief is involved in all the activities of terror attacks inside India, and he was also planning further attacks in India.
Yes.
So I think Pakistan has to think that whether it is going to be going to act against those terrorist groups, or that international anger is also increasing. You have seen that all the P5 members have reacted on this, and also major members of United Nations also they have said, and even India has reached out to even smaller nations.
Yes.
So world community has come on board as far as terrorism is concerned, and no one has spoken in favor of Pakistan in any point of time.
That means, Akhilesh, the efforts really must continue in ensuring that we must not stop putting pressure on Pakistan so that it cracks on terror operating from its soil, Akhilesh. In these circumstances, Akhilesh, now Sushma Swaraj is going to address the OIC plenary session today. So that is also one, happening that we'll obviously keep an eye on what exactly she says there, because it is a grouping of all the Islamic nations, and Pakistan had, did not want India to be a part of that meeting. So that is one event that also we'll be looking out for today.
Really, this is you can say that one of the major achievements of India as far as our diplomacy is concerned in the Middle East and Gulf nations, because Pakistan was opposing that why India has been invited as a guest of honor for the OIC, given the fact that Pakistan has been one of the founder members of OIC. So in that situation, that UAE Crown Prince has called Pakistan, and UAE Crown Prince has also called India yesterday. And he has, in a way, has told Pakistan that India is our friend. We have not just economic relations, but we have historical relations, and we have to increase and strengthen it for business, for the peace in the region, and also for that overall calming the overall situation. So in that situation, what we have got from our sources in India, that External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will accord warm welcome in UAE, in Abu Dhabi, and she will be also speaking, addressing the plenary session, and she will also have bilateral with many countries in the region. So in that way, you can say that India's approach, India's diplomacy has reached out to those nations where we were not invited till now. So I think this is going to be add another wing in our diplomacy and our outreach to many nations in the world. Aishwarya?
Right, and Akhilesh, as you also mentioned about, that we should not let our guard down because, yesterday we heard all the three service chiefs addressing the press conference where they spoke of the fact that, they are in a state of readiness to thwart any Pakistan's misadventure. But, ceasefire violations along the line of control have been continuing. So we have to make sure that we don't let our guard down.
You know that Wing Commander, Abhinandan's arrest is an aberration because it happens when you are in combat situation. But given the fact that Pulwama incident and action on Pulwama incident, it has to be done because it is an act of terror. An act of terror has to be, those who have perpetrated those acts of terror, they have to be punished. So India has kept this thing very clear from yesterday only that release of Wing Commander Abhinandan is no way related to our position on terrorist activities emanating from the soil of Pakistan. So Pakistan has to act against them.
Yes.
So that is why dossier has been given. Dossier is, dossier is a compilation of all the relevant facts, how it happened and how they are related to Pakistani soil and how Jaish-e-Mohammed is involved in it. So dossier is like, charge sheet, and Pakistan has to work on this charge sheet, and this dossier has been created with the, actionable evidence. Pakistan Prime Minister has been telling that give us actionable evidence. Though such type of actionable evidences have been given earlier also after Mumbai terror attack, also after Pathankot attack. Even India invited some of the security officers from Pakistan to see and then act, but Pakistan never acted.
Right.
So that is why India was forced to act against Jaish-e-Mohammed hideout in Pakistan's Balakot. So that line is still there. One should not forget that action against Pulwama terrorist attack has to be done by Pakistan.
Absolutely. The action must be taken by Pakistan. At the moment, of course, there has been some de-escalation of tensions, and we all look forward to Wing Commander Abhinandan's return today. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for all those updates on that big story. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday chaired a high-level meeting on security amid the heightened tensions with Pakistan. The meeting was attended by the chiefs of three services, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, Home Minister Rajnath Singh and Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Several other senior officials were also present during the high-level meeting that came hours after Pakistan announced the release of captured Indian Air Force's pilot, Wing Commander Abhinandan. And United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has welcomed the decision of Pakistan to release Indian Air Force pilot Wing Commander Abhinandan. Now, Guterres has also added that we would encourage both parties to do whatever they can to de-escalate the situation, and this is the message that has been passed on by the United Nations and by the international community as a whole. Meanwhile, the United States has also welcomed Pakistan's decision to release a captured Indian Air Force pilot, Wing Commander Abhinandan, in their custody. Simultaneously, the US has urged both India and Pakistan to take immediate steps to de-escalate tensions. The US reiterated its call to Pakistan to abide by its United Nations Security Council commitments to deny terrorists safe havens and block their access to funds. And Russian President Vladimir Putin also spoke with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday on phone and extended support to strengthen India's anti-terror measures. While speaking with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Putin expressed his deep condolences on the Pulwama terrorist attack. He also conveyed solidarity of the people of Russia with India in its fight against terrorism. Prime Minister Modi thanked Putin for Russia's steadfast support for India's efforts to protect its interests against cross-border terror attacks and renewed India's commitment to strengthening bilateral cooperation in countering terrorism. Both the leaders agreed that the concerned parties should stop all support to terrorism. And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. News and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back after the break. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj left for Abu Dhabi to attend the Foreign Ministers' meet of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, or the OIC states. Beginning today, Sushma Swaraj will attend the inaugural plenary of the two-day meeting. It is for the first time that India has been invited to an OIC meeting as a guest of honor. External Affairs Minister is expected to address the inaugural plenary and also hold bilateral meetings with the leaders present. India's engagement with the OIC comes in the midst of escalating tension between India and Pakistan. There were reports that Pakistan tried to get Sushma Swaraj disinvited from the OIC meet. In fact, the OIC had earlier disinvited India from its conference way back in 1969 in Morocco at Pakistan's behest. The MEA said that Foreign Minister of UAE, Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, invited Sushma Swaraj as a guest of honor to address the inaugural plenary, and that India was happy to accept the invitation. And the government on Thursday banned the separatist group Jamaat-e-Islami in Jammu and Kashmir for a period of 5 years under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act for alleged anti-national and subversive activities. A notification on the ban was issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs after a high-level meeting on security chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The separatist group is alleged to be involved in anti-national and subversive activities in the country. The security forces launched a crackdown on separatist forces and also arrested many of its leaders and cadres of a Jamaat-e-Islami Jammu and Kashmir after the 14th of February terrorist attack in Pulwama. And the centre on Thursday approved an order for giving reservation benefits to economically weaker sections and for promotion in government jobs to SCs and STs and in Jammu and Kashmir. The Constitution 77th Amendment Act of 1995 provides for reservation in promotion for the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes, while the Constitution 103rd Amendment Act 2019 provides for 10% reservation in education and government jobs to economically weaker sections. The government had enacted a law last month to provide a 10% reservation in education for the general category poor. The Cabinet also decided to promulgate an ordinance, the Jammu and Kashmir Reservation Amendment Ordinance 2019, to give reservation benefits to the people living along the international border as well in Jammu and Kashmir, who often face a shelling from across the border. This facility was so far available only to the people living along the line of control in the state that also face similar living conditions.
जम्मू कश्मीर के संबंध में दो प्रमुख निर्णय, एक अमेंडमेंट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एप्लीकेशन टू जम्मू एंड कश्मीर ऑर्डर 1954 और 1954, ये ऑर्डर का वो पार्ट है जो रिजर्वेशंस के साथ डील करता है। आज मंत्रिपरिषद ने माननीय राज्यपाल जी की स्वीकृति के साथ उनको जम्मू और कश्मीर में लागू करने का निर्णय किया है। दूसरा, जो जम्मू और कश्मीर रिजर्वेशन एक्ट है 2004 का, जिसमें कास्ट बेस्ड रिजर्वेशन के अतिरिक्त बैकवर्ड एरियाज को भी रिप्रेजेंटेशन था, तो आज उस एक्ट को अमेंड करना एक ऑर्डिनेंस के माध्यम से और उस आरक्षण को इंटरनेशनल बॉर्डर के साथ रहने वाले लोगों पे भी लागू करना, ये एक प्रमुख निर्णय मंत्रिपरिषद ने लिया है।
And the Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved a new central sector scheme, namely the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme. The scheme seeks to provide income support to all small and marginal landholder farmers' families. After the first installment, Aadhaar seeding of the beneficiary has been made optional for farmers to avail the second installment. The condition will remain applicable for the release of the third installment as well. However, Aadhaar number shall be compulsory for the release of second installment. The government will take adequate measures to validate the data before the payment is made.
किसान सम्मान निधि में उन्होंने 24 तारीख को गोरखपुर में एक कार्यक्रम शुरू किया था, जिसमें 1 करोड़ किसानों को पहली किश्त दी गई थी, जो लगभग 2021 करोड़ रुपए की थी। 1 अप्रैल से इसके सेकंड किश्त को भी देना है, लेकिन ओरिजिनल कैबिनेट फैसले के मुताबिक उसकी आधार सीडिंग होनी जरूरी है। लेकिन जो सूचना आई कि इतने शॉर्ट टाइम में सबकी आधार सीडिंग नहीं हो सकती, तो आज कैबिनेट ने इसको एक अपवाद के रूप में फैसला किया है कि सेकंड इंस्टॉलमेंट जो 1 अप्रैल को देना है, उसके लिए आधार सीडिंग अनिवार्य नहीं होगी, लेकिन वो पेमेंट किया जाएगा। तो किसानों के प्रति सरकार का जो कमिटमेंट है, वो इस बात का परिचायक है।
The government has also announced a soft loan of up to 10,540 crore rupees to the sugar industry to help mills clear mounting arrears to the cane growers. The move would cost the exchequer up to 1,054 crore rupees as interest subsidy. Sugarcane arrears to the farmers have crossed 20,000 crore rupees in the current marketing year 2018-19, that is from October to September. And the Cabinet has also approved an array of infrastructural projects across the country. The Cabinet approved Kanpur and Agra metro rail projects, the move to boost public transport connectivity in the 2 Uttar Pradesh cities. The Cabinet also approved the construction of a 4-lane bridge, including approaches over river Brahmaputra between Dhubri on North Bank in Assam and Phulbari on South Bank on NH 127B in Meghalaya. Approval to a redevelopment plan of Delhi AIIMS was also granted. AIIMS will be converted into a world-class medical university. The Cabinet also approved the setting up of a new AIIMS in Rewari district of Haryana at a cost of 1,299 crore rupees. The Cabinet also gave its ex post facto approval for the creation of a special purpose vehicle for the disinvestment of Air India and its subsidiaries and joint ventures. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be in Tamil Nadu today, where he will unveil a series of developmental projects. The Prime Minister will lay the foundation stones for 5 national highway projects worth 2,995 crore rupees in Kanyakumari. He will dedicate to the nation a 2- or 4-lane Madurai-Ramanathapuram section of NH 87 and other road infrastructure projects aimed at strengthening the road connectivity in various regions in Tamil Nadu. Prime Minister Modi will also flag off a Tejas Express between Madurai and Chennai. The Prime Minister will also visit the port city of Visakhapatnam, where he will address a public gathering. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.